Company revoked my access so quick I was kicked off the call when they were laying me off. Right when my manager said, "And today is your last day," I saw her click her mouse and I was logged off of everything. Even the call in which they were laying me off. I had to rejoin with my personal email. What a dummy. I think of it every now and then and laugh. I wouldn't have rejoined. I hope you were recording that chat. Would have been worth the souvenir. My wife found out she was being laid off during her vacation when she lost access to her emails. Then when she called her boss to ask about it, he refused to confirm and told her to call his boss. I hate that car company with the heat of a 1,000 suns. I've heard a lot of horror stories about being escorted out of the building by police, or unknowingly locked out of email, or even reading about layoffs in the news before getting notified. But this is new a one. But it's just so unprofessional when employees don't give TWOX notice. That reminds me of when I got laid off 2 jobs ago. They actually gave me 4 weeks notice that my position was being eliminated. So I was expected to continue to come in for 4 more weeks or until I had wrapped up, handed over my projects. The problem was that by the following morning, they had revoked my access to all of the software I needed to use to wrap up said projects. I managed to get my access to the live version restored, but they refused to restore my build access. I ended up having to direct a coworker through the steps of the project I needed it for so she could do it. Like, if you expect me to continue to work for 4 more weeks, how am I expected to do so if I can't get into my software? My company had a doorpad code and they wouldn't lay you off during work hours after you left for the day. They would change the door codes and leave your things outside in a box. Next day you show up to work, see the box and realize it's your things. Basically the same thing happened to me last month. Direct boss couldn't even look at the camera. He hung up and HR told me, "Your last day is today. You'll get a full day pay for today typing and we will be send." Click. The next 2 weeks they texted or called every day to try to get me to tell them how to do things or where such and such was. Each time my only response was a contractor's day rate. A day rate that went up each time they contacted me. It's their own damn fault for immediately letting me go and not giving time for handoffs. I was being laid off 3 years ago. Entire department of 5,500. Gone. The tech offering was just shut down like that. I applied around internally and externally, and despite the layoff I really did still like the company. I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Out of the blue. Friday before being laid off I get call. "Hi, you applied for X. Sorry, I was out of the office for 5 weeks with emergency heart surgery. Are you still interested?" Quote. So whirlwind attempt to get me transferred. I am in the call to be laid off. Just like op when old manager pushes the button. That is it. I am gone. Severance check issued. 5 minutes in she gets a frantic email and call. I am transferred. Not only that, with a shocking 30% raise. Still they locked my accounts free so I had a couple of days off. Had to get a new Amex too. I was laid off as part of a mass layoff event and was cut off access immediately. We were told we could keep our laptops and IT would be wiping them remotely. It was very unfortunate because I had a ton of essential files on my laptop and the company couldn't meet some critical deliverables the following week and month. I was planning to quit anyways and already had a wonderful job lined up. Said it was a huge relief to not have to do weeks of KT and cross-training. I collected my severance and left. I had a couple calls asking for my help, but after some soul-searching, I said no. I am glad I was laid off because my former colleagues are saying it's very hard to be left behind. Yay! We load all that stuff into a script the night before. Then fire it off and disable everything all at once. It's either scheduled automatically or ad hoc. When I found out I was laid off, me and my bestie, who was also laid off after 10 years of service at this FAANG, went to the office early. 6 a.m. literally freezing temperatures early. We officially start work at 9 but always start off the clock to prep for client meetings. We also carpooled with my husband to help with the company carbon initiatives and environment. Husband drove off to his job. We tried to use our badges. We were greeted at the door by the guard who told us to check our email. We did. We called an Uber and went home. I love corporate America. For the last, and my first since joining the company, round of layoffs, the people getting fired were asked to join a Zoom call while their Google accounts that managed access to the entire company were deactivated. When I worked for a small tech support call center, the SR tech quit but had access to the building on the weekends. Netgear was across the hall. I was working that weekend and fielding calls, and he proceeded to delete and secure erase his computer that had all of the advanced tech information on it that he developed. I think the shish t himself in the foot though. Months later I saw him running the film development department at Walmart. Yikes. They do these things for risk management. Had this exact same experience. I laughed and said, heck yes. Which confused her for a bit. She asked if I had questions. I said no, picked up my stuff at my desk and left within the next 10 minutes. Best day ever. But we're a family. I hear horror stories like this. And I'm glad I'm in a union. I got laid off 2 weeks ago. My foreman apologized for having to lay me off, told me she had found me a new job, and introduced me to my new foreman. I missed a week of work, but with unemployment it wasn't so bad. When I got laid off, I couldn't tell you how long it took them to shut off my access because I closed my laptop before they disconnected the call. It was one of those Zoom meetings where my manager and HR had their cameras on and I didn't. They look very sad. Them. Blah blah blah. Unfortunately your position is being eliminated. Blah blah blah. You will receive your severance package in the mail. I hated that job. My manager was nice enough, but did nothing about the verbally abusive, tantrum throwing man-child that was my account exec. So when I got laid off, it was good news. I said, "K," and closed my laptop. I don't know if they were done talking, but I was done listening. We don't even fire people in person anymore. They'll get a phone call from a pre-recorded message telling them not to come in, and then they'll get all their stuff mailed to them, and they get a mailer bag to send their parking passes and badge back. Found out I was laid off when I got an invite to a "you're being laid off" meeting while I was on Zoom training a member of my team who just started with the company that day. Worse, I realized later one of the people included in that meeting invite hadn't actually been able to attend because he was on paternity leave while his wife gave birth to their first child.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.